Hey guys, Steven here with STS Pickleball, and today we're going to be talking about the new Quanta series from Ronbus. Literally the best budget paddle you can buy right now in 2025. So without further ado, let's dink straight into it. So Ronbus just dropped a bomb in 2025. They went back to their roots and they're dropping a $99 paddle with discount code that is full foam, Gen 4, 5 different shapes, no polypropylene to speak of in the core or the grip, and they have dampening in the bottom corners of the paddle, just like a Yola Pro 4. Incredible. I think what happened here is that Ronbus, they've noticed that over the past year or so, they've been dropping paddles and they've been trying to keep up with the curve and trying to keep up with the meta as far as core mechanics and core construction goes. And, they fell short, to be quite honest, right? So high swing weights, the Ripple came out originally and that was extremely exciting. But by the time it was, going to be released, PB Core really started coming in and there was a lot of regulations happening during that time. And the Ripple was just outside of those regulations as far as power was concerned. So they had to tone that back a little bit. And it was just this big ordeal, right? So the Ripple eventually came out as a V2 and it fell short. High swing weight, not a super appealing feeling off the face, just a little mid in general, right? Nothing crazy to speak of. So Ronbus went back to their roots and they're offering a paddle that is $100, full foam, Gen 4, no polypropylene to speak of, 5 different shapes, very good spin, a nice feeling off the face, and a paddle that's competing with some of the best full foam power paddles in the space for $99. So the paddle does come in at $120. You can use code STS Pickleball to take $20 off, making it just $99. This is a full foam Gen 4 paddle. And even if you don't use my discount code, a free way of saying thank you and just supporting my channel would be to subscribe. Hit that little notification bell next to the subscription button. It helps my channel out like crazy. I appreciate each and every one of you. It is a power paddle for sure. It's not at the top echelon of power though. So we're talking about maybe like 15%-ish less than something like a boomstick, something like the new Bread and Butter Loco. And again, so they have 5 different shapes. I'm holding right now my personal favorite, the R3, which is essentially a Perseus shape, 5.5 inch handle, 16 millimeter thickness. Really solid paddle. Again, they also have the R2, which is going to be a squared off sort of standard shape paddle. And then they also have the R4, which is going to be a hybrid paddle, a little bit tapered on the sides, nice arrow curve on the top. And then we also have the R1, which my dad has right now. So I don't have it for this review right now just to show you, but it is an arrow curve elongated paddle, just like the R3, just with an arrow curve on the top, just a little bit of a rounded top essentially. And then there's also the R5, which is going to be a rounded top tapered standard shape paddle, just like the R2. But I do prefer the R2 over the R5. I have a guy using the R5 right now because it was probably my least favorite. And he's doing some break-in testing with that right now. So, but we'll go ahead and jump into some of the metrics on these paddles. So the static weight on all these paddles came in at an average of about 7.8 ounces. I'll go ahead and throw up on the screen right now all of the swing weights and twist weights for all these different shapes. And you can see that they're really solid. If anything, they're on the lighter end, which is nice. So just like the Franklin C45, the Franklin C45 is decent stock, but it's a little too light and you don't really get a lot of plow through the ball. And really the mechanics and the core mechanics and the way that it was constructed is very much unlocked when you add weighting on the perimeter of the paddle. And that's the same thing with these paddles. And you'll notice that with anything that's really, especially elongated paddles or standard shape paddles that are closer to 100 or 108 to 110 swing weight. Really a paddle's pure ability to give you that incredible performance that you're really looking for is going to be unlocked in that, generally 112 to 115 swing weight for a standard shape paddle and more of like 115 to 118 swing weight for an elongated paddle. Some people prefer more, but I feel like those are the minimum thresholds to really unlock the potential of a lot of these different paddles. And as you can see, the R3 in particular, which is going to be a Perseus shaped paddle, came in at 109.89 as far as the swing weight goes. So quite light for an elongated paddle. So you have a lot of room for customization. And with these paddles, these are not going to be super great out of the box. They are not super great stock. But when you do add perimeter weighting, they do get really solid. And it really unlocks the potential here for them to be quite top tier paddles. And again, at $99, which is pretty crazy. And so with the addition of perimeter weighting here, one of my go-tos right now is about 5 inches up, about 1 inch out from the handle here, all the way up into the flat side edge. very, very solid, right? You can do that. You can also do 3 inches on the bottom corner and 3 inches on the top corner as well, which I've been messing around with on both sides. That's been also really nice. That adds a little bit more power, a little bit more swing weight as well, which is nice. So that gives it a little bit more plow through, a little bit more whip on the ball. So if you're looking for a little bit more spin, you can throw a little bit more weight towards the top corners. But generally speaking, these do need weight, right? So if you're the kind of player that really likes a paddle to just come out of the box and play really well stock, I probably would urge you to go with a different paddle. But I will say that if you're okay with adding weight and messing around and customizing your paddle as something that feels right to you, these are going to be very, very solid picks, especially for the fact that they're 99 bucks. So the twist weights on these are decent. They're not top tier twist weights, so stability out of the box isn't going to be super great. But again, these do need to be customized to really unlock their full potential. So again, adding weight on the perimeter of these paddles is going to just give them that extra stability, which is really nice on off-center hits. And it also opens up the sweet spot really nicely. So as far as the core makeup on these, the outer perimeter is going to be an EVA foam, and it's going to be quite a thick layer, reminiscent of something from 11624 in their Power series. A nice thick layer of EVA foam there, and then the center, the large mass of the center, really the true core of this paddle, is going to be an EPP foam, and then you're going to have some TPE foam inserts at the bottom right and bottom left corners of these paddles. And TPE foam is very interesting because it's a type of foam that is more elastic, more rubbery, and it's definitely meant to dampen vibration more so, right? And so it's the type of foam that is almost kind of rubbery in consistency. And so that's going to dampen vibration, and you do feel that in play. So if you're somebody that has tennis elbow, somebody that's really prone to vibration kind of, flaring you up a little bit, this would be actually a really good paddle for you. Reminiscent of the Yola Pro 4, right? The Yola Pro 4 also has inserts at the bottom 2 corners as well in their paddle, and it's really used to dampen vibration, and it does work in practice. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the scores for power, sweet spot, control, and spin on all 5 of these paddles. So you can go ahead and see what they all look like right now, as far as they're playing, as far as the metrics go. And you can see, again, they're really solid in power. They have solid spin, they have really solid sweet spots, and the control is still there. And we're seeing that with a lot of these Gen 4 full foam paddles. The control is very, very solid given how much power they actually have. The sweet spot is larger than polypropylene paddles, and again, the metrics are extremely, extremely good for a $99 paddle after discount code. Now let's go ahead and talk about the feeling off the face on these. And they do have a nice bit of dwell. It's not the same dwell that you're going to find with some of the top dwelling paddles like a GX2 Power or a Boomstick, where they feel very pillowy and kind of cushiony off the face and kind of rebound the ball really well, especially GX2 Power. But they feel less rigid than some more rigid paddles in the space, right? So it's not a very jarring feeling off the face. I think the dampeners at the bottom 2 corners as well are really doing a great job of reducing vibration and just making it a more pleasant feeling off the face. But I will say, again, for a $99 paddle, this has the best feeling off the face of a $99 paddle that I've ever felt in my experience playing pickleball and reviewing paddles. And then I'm going to go ahead and break down what my 2 personal favorite shapes are. So the R3 is my personal favorite. It's going to be kind of a Perseus shape. I've been really enjoying elongated shapes lately, also hybrid shapes. I haven't been playing a lot with standard shape paddles too much lately, just because I do work a 2-handed backhand into my game a lot these days, and dinking somewhat in drops, but definitely on drives as well. 2-handed backhand drives, which are really, really nice and very, very solid to have in your arsenal. And so I've been really just trying to play a lot more with elongated paddles and hybrid paddles. And now when I pick up a more standard shape paddle or a wide body paddle, it just doesn't feel the same. It's not something that I really gravitate towards anymore. So I would say the R3 is probably my personal first pick out of this arsenal of 5 shapes. And then I would say the R4 would be my second pick. I do like the hybrid shape, plenty of room for 2-handed backhand. As you can see, I can put both hands comfortably on the paddle, all fingers, and then just ride my index finger up the face on the back of the R4. So there's plenty of room on the handles here, which is really, really nice. It's a very comfortable fit on both of these paddles, all the way down to the bottom of the grip. And I'm 6'2". I have quite large hands, and this is a very, very comfortable placement for me. And again, 99 bucks, pretty crazy. So To wrap this up, I would say Ronbus definitely knocked it out of the park here. I think it's really awesome that they went back to their roots. I think it's really smart of them, given some of their hiccups over the past year or so. And, back to the roots, $99, full foam, Gen 4 paddle that is playing extremely well. The metrics on this, as you saw before, are definitely top tier. And, again, we're talking about just a little bit less power than something like a boomstick or a GX2 power. So, maybe 15% less, but it's $99. You could buy 3 of these before you could buy 1 boomstick, right? So pretty crazy value here. Definitely going to be top budget pick of 2025 by far. Nothing even comes close. A lot of the paddles these days, even just budget paddles, we're talking about $160. Like, there's not really much that comes in under $160 these days as far as Gen 3 or full foam goes. So for Ronbus to come out with something like this, that is Gen 4, full foam, $99 after discount code STS Pickleball, is pretty amazing. So props to Ronbus, really digging these paddles. I think you're gonna love them. So make sure you consider subscribing to the channel. It helps out my channel like crazy. I appreciate each and every one of you. Definitely leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I always try and respond to every single comment in the comment section of my videos. I hope you guys have a freaking wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.